You're listening to Moviesucktastic.
Sounds like some bad movie.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Moviesucktastic.
Moviesucktastic.
Where the movies
suck. Dawn is a hooker on the streets of New York. Or New Orleans, whatever. What is
it? L.A. It's Venice. I believe it's Venice.
Venice. Yeah, you're right. Welcome
Venice,
to Moviesucktastic. Scott is a hooker.
He loves heroin. He's always on the H train.
Okay, who doesn't? Come on.
So welcome everyone. This is my challenge to Scott.
Now,
the theme obviously was in the previous challenge, which was Wild Thing. I got the theme from, living on the streets, hookers, drugs being run in. So my challenge, the theme was this film, which also deals with some of the same things. Now, this is a film that I saw and actually really did enjoy when I was 14 years old. Mainly because my infatuation with Christina Applegate at that time. Being a fan of Married with Children. I'm 14, hormones running wild.
You and every other teenage boy.
Well, of course. Yeah. I love the trailer, too. Christina Applegate from Married with Children. Rated Varieties. Top
and hot. That kid from Over the Top.
And it's a movie trailer for it. And then at the end, they're trying to sell another film with a movie poster. And primary target is included. And anyone that watches this, the video... It's an $89.95 package. 2 movies are $90 on VHS. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, that was the norm back then.
Well, because videotapes were priced for rental stores. They weren't priced to buy at your house.
That's right. And when they were priced ridiculously, $50 to $100 in that range. The only time you ever got movies that were $15, $20, $25 were when they wanted you to, like, Roger Rabbit, Top Gun, Crocodile Dundee, like movies like that, these big blockbusters, Jurassic Park, they would release them and then they would release them to buy as well. And that was rare up until the release of, or the advent of DVDs.
Nah, but what movie started the whole thing? Up to a certain point, you really couldn't buy new VHS tapes. They were priced too expensive. They weren't meant for the homeowner market. They were meant for the video rental market. What film broke that down?
I thought, and I might say Titanic, but I thought that DVDs really killed that, and VHS tapes started to go on sale more often because DVDs, as soon as the movie was out in theaters, 3-4 months later, you could buy it for $20.
No, DVDs did kill it, but at a certain point, when DVDs started coming out, you could also buy new VHS tapes. I'm saying there was a point where there really wasn't. You really weren't going out buying VHS tapes. You were just renting them because they were priced for rental stores. What's the film that released the video of the film at such a low price that anybody could buy it? What's the big blockbuster movie? No?
I could name 50 blockbuster films. I don't know
but
any of them would be right.
No. Only one of them would be right because only one of them was the first one to come out at $20 at a reasonable price where any family could purchase it. It was a big deal when it came out.
I don't know. What is it?
Batman. Michael Keaton's Batman.
Really? Okay. Yeah, I could see that.
It was the first one. It was big news. They released $20 for the VHS tape, so people didn't have to rent it. They could go out and buy it, and it blew up with that. And after that, they started making the special editions and coming out and lowering the prices so people could buy them, because that's when you actually started getting a real collector's market for VHS tapes beyond buying used tapes from your video store.
Now, personally, I didn't buy many VHS tapes, even when they were cheap. I recorded a lot of stuff off of cable and TV and whatnot. And if I wanted it to be a special film, I'd put the VCR in SP mode. Remember SP mode?
Yep.
Where anyone out there that doesn't know that, it would be a 6-hour tape you'd buy, and SP mode would cut it down to 2 hours. So you had to make sure your film was 2 hours or less, or else you'd run out of tape. But you'd get the best quality. That's what SP mode meant.
Well, and that's why an EP was a 6-hour, LP was 4-hour.
Right.
And that's what helped VHS beat out Betamax, because Betamax only had 1-hour videotapes at first. VHS was the first system to come out with a 2-hour tape that you could put a whole movie on.
It's ironic. I actually just got into this conversation with someone today about Beta and whatnot. More than that, the biggest reason why Beta failed was because Sony, they were the inventor of Beta, and greedy. Nothing has changed since then. But they did not give anybody else the rights to make Beta film or machines, the Betamax players. They were the only ones that wanted to make a Betamax player. But VHS or VCR, I believe Panasonic or RCA invented that, and they gave the rights out to anybody. Oh, Sanyo, you want to make a VHS player? Go right ahead. So every company was able to make a VHS player, and they saturated the market, and you had better deals. You had more companies making them. And Betamax went the way of the dodo.
That is a major part. I would argue, though, that having the first 2-hour tape to record stuff on was probably the big reason. I mean,
sure. Well, think of it this way: Beta was the superior format.
Oh yeah,
it was a smaller tape. They eventually fixed the 1-hour tape, but by that time, everyone was already buying up the VCRs, and it just wasn't enough.
And they had a piss poor advertising campaign. It was like New Coke, that bad.
Yeah, New Coke.
Yeah.
But anyway, moving away from that.
What are we talking about again?
We're talking about the movie Streets.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Now, having never really, I remember watching parts of this at the comic store back in the day, but I never actually sat down and watched it from beginning to end. And this is the first time I've really done that. And I got to say, this movie does have some interesting things going for it. Again, basic plot is the kid from Over the Top bumps into the girl from Married to Children. She's an heroin addict. He's an idiot. Insert serial killer that's trying to track down Christina Applegate because she can ID him, and hilarity ensues. But one of the big things it has going, and this is the same thing that I pointed out with Wild Thing last episode, this film really takes itself seriously. Mm-hmm. It's really trying to portray the life of these homeless runaways and kids living on the streets.
Yeah, I mean, everything. I mean, you could tell that they tried hard to make this. I mean, just the scene that's on now, the cop, the serial killer cop, he's at his apartment, and they have this blue filter on it. Now, and they're really trying to go for like some serious cinematography here. Well,
you see that now, as you go through the film, you'll see whenever you have scenes with him alone or him with police, they're blue filtered, very light blue, dark blue. Meanwhile, whenever you're in scenes with Dawn, majority of those are very warm orange, red. Sure. Now, not soft light though. It's really a harsh light. So there's that glowing nature to it, that kind of daylight, but it's a fading daylight or a dawn kind of daylight.
Right.
And it's not flattering to her as well. I mean, it's kind of pretty, but it's not exactly what you would call like a soft light.
Yeah, the blue coats give you to the white coats.
Blue coats blow your fucking head off.
Yeah.
There's
no
no white
scene
coats.
where he decides to shove an entire rosebush thorn right through his hand.
Mm-hmm. Now, and that's...
I don't know if that's possible, but it's still kind of a cool
No.
scene.
Yeah, there's a lot of imagery going on. Like that scene alone, you've got him with the rose bush and pushing the thorn through his hand, which kind of symbolizes...
He's torturing himself.
Well, obviously he's torturing himself. He just shoved shit through his hand. But
well,
like,
no. It's almost like an Albert Fish, where every time do this horrific crime, he torture himself for to repent, essentially.
No, I disagree totally. That's not why he's doing that. He's doing that because Christina Applegate got away, and he's in the moment of confusion. But
he's not trying to feel something.
No, well, that's what the symbology is, though. Is the whole idea that roses signify love, romance, that kind of thing, and that has no effect on him, but pain does, hence the thorn. So yeah, there is an imagery there, but I don't think he's doing it. I don't think it's a ritual with him. Otherwise, there would have been more holes in his hands if he did it after every time he killed a girl. Then you got the whole thing where he picks the cat up and stares at it. Doesn't really understand pussy. Not really heavy imagery here. You can kind of get that on the surface. And don't forget his handgun, the big phallic firearm, because sometimes
with the silencer. Suppressor. But I mean, just when a guy who's got woman issues is going around killing prostitutes, he's got this huge like a sawed-off shotgun with a suppressor. Sometimes a cigar is just a cigar, and sometimes a gun is a big black cock of death. What? Where are you going with this?
The gun is an extension of his cock.
Really?
His penis, if you will, and that, you don't get that in the film, especially when he shoves it up the one guy's ass.
Well,
and when
he did.
Waving,
he did do that.
And how he, and just like he's just every discharge from that gun is like like sexual frustration being hurled violently at whatever person he's pointing it at. Even at the end where he's waving it in the kid's face, that kind of, fully erect, mind you. There's a lot of sexual imagery going on here with the main character, and you see that throughout the film, and it's especially as far as like the homeless kids all living under bridges and in tunnels. It's very interesting to watch because there's more thought. There's actually thought going on in the film process. The director really gets kudos for me for that kind of stuff.
Yeah, no, believe me, and we'll talk about the very, very end because I want to get your take on what the hell happened there. And it's a little piece of imagery that I don't know if was by accident.
The beginning and end. The beginning and the end.
The beginning, it happened in the beginning? Or maybe we're talking about two different things, but we'll get to it.
I don't think so, but we'll get to that.
Okay. One of the things that annoyed me about the film was that the kid from Over the Top is in it. And even when I was 14, I didn't like him. And I think because I was 14 when I saw it, my main reason was he got to hang out with Christina Applegate and at one point gets to touch her boobies.
Dude, he nails her.
Well, yeah. And one of the things that I noticed in the film is everyone rips condoms with their teeth. Who does that?
I don't know.
Not once in my entire life have I done it that way. Ever. It's
a visual thing, and it's sexual too. There's a violence to it, ripping it with the teeth instead of a. Now,
I guess so.
I want to point out the fact that it's not bad. It's not bad enough that the kid from Over the Top is in the film, and it's not bad enough that the kid from Over the Top nails Christina Applegate. Yeah. But I have to actually watch as the kid from Over the Top puts on a condom. Awkwardly puts on a condom. There's that scene is so, for me, I would rather go back and watch like the anal gun scene again. That was less bothersome than just him like, okay, do we have to show everything? There's like milk in the scene.
He tells her he loves her.
Well, now he learned. I think we saw the evolution of a child becoming a man and learning about romance, and this kid learns one of the main rules or guidelines. I think you could say you learn when you start dating or romancing women. Wait till she takes the heroin, then make your move. Always, can't win, can't lose.
Sure.
It's a win-win situation.
He's a brave soul, too. Prostitute, takes heroin, probably shares dirty needles. Next thing you know, he's got HIV, dropped 60 pounds in a year. Goodbye. Brave kid. Stupid.
It's
brave.
It's kind of weird how they try to, and here's where I'll go negative on the film. They do try to protect the Dawn character. Now, even choosing the name Dawn, I think is kind of cool because real writers will always pick names that do kind of invoke what they want with the character. And with Dawn, you do have this idea of budding womanhood. So the sun rising, etc. And again, that's why her color is orange too. As far as the lighting goes, the warm sunlight.
Yeah, they're in a locker room now, and it's another blue filter.
Right. So whenever you're dealing with the cops, or specifically the Lumley character, you're going to have that blue. Now, they try to clean up her character. All right, again, underage teenager living on the street, 16, prostitute, heroin addict. But the film kind of goes out of its way to say, oh, she doesn't do sex. She only does like oral. And so I guess it's following the Bill Clinton rule. And then on the one trip we follow her with that doesn't involve like trying to kill her, she like talks the guy out of doing oral sex. Oh, my tooth hurts, which not going to work. Sorry. No, that's one of the excuses that just don't work. And it's like trying to add purity to a character that's really just not pure in the least. Not by her own, and again, child growing up in the streets with a mother who was a prostitute. It's one of those things where it's you can't win situation, but they just try to whitewash it just a little bit, and it just I carry condoms, and like you pointed out, and you shoot up with needles in in sewers. So good way to keep clean. What really? Now, if they had pointed to the or if the Cy, David Mendenhall's character, had pointed to that kind of the fuck's the word? No, two things that don't make sense together that clash. Why can't I think of words tonight? I'm dying. That contrast. I'll use the word contrast because I can't fucking think. If he had pointed to that contradiction, that contradiction of what she's doing, that would have made sense. It would have shown the contradiction of the character more fully. But I don't think they were going for that. I just feel they were going for, well, we can't make her a dirty whore, so we'll make her a clean whore.
And she's 16, and her parents have to sign off on consent anyway.
Yeah. I mean, I did like in the opening where the kid asks her, "Are you a prostitute?" And she says, "No, I'm a whore." I'm not. I'm not a professional.
Yeah, I'm not a pro.
Yeah, so that spoke to me. I like that, the whole idea, acknowledgement of what you are and what you're doing, but at the same time they're going to pull this condom thing as some kind of she's trying to be as clean as possible. Yeah,
right. Yeah, not going to work.
Now, my theory in the film is that the character Cy is actually the actual character from Over the Top and ran away from Sylvester Stallone's home years later after he spent all his entire his childhood cooped up in these military schools, and all of a sudden he's living with a truck driving father. Of course he's going to one day say, yeah, you know what, I'm going to go out on my own and go to Venice Beach.
I'm going to be a rock star.
Yeah, I would be a rock star in Hollywood. I can do it. Yeah, I can drive a truck. I can become a rock star. It makes perfect sense to me. And he's just as dumb in this as he is in Over the Top. So it really does work. It should be the sequel. It should be like Over the Top, and then this should be the sequel, like Under the Bridge. Or
why not? Sure.
I haven't thought it out fully, but and you could almost even make Christina Applegate's character Kelly Bundy.
Yeah, why not?
If you got rid of the whole backstory of her mother being a prostitute in California. Yeah, we could make this work. We really could.
So, Lumley's character, it's like you said in the beginning of the film, he picks her up.
Killer cop.
of course, he doesn't want just a oral or a hand job or anything. He tries to essentially rape her because she's now resisting. And he's just snoozing underneath the pier where they're going to do this, and he tries to kill her, and Cy saves her. Mm-hmm. From that point, they have this kind of weird relationship throughout the rest of the film that gets more and more revealing. Like she's doing heroin in the bathroom, and her friend Bob, he spells it backwards, yada yada yada. But they have these really kind of neat shots where she's doing heroin in the bathroom and the door's wide open, but she don't care. And you see him in the mirror watching her do heroin, and Bob's just hanging out on the bed. He's just like, yeah, I like this. This is cool. I want to get that. Because apparently it's a crime scene, and he knows someone. He got in there to go get free clothes and shit. But the relationship in the film, and the music that they choose too, it works. Weirdly, it works. It kind of sets this tone for the film where, like, you kind of feel sorry for these characters because the music sets that tone. And
well, even the killer cop has this kind of weird, like slightly off kilter romantic music or soft music, where it's not really what you're used to for like creepy killer music. It's almost like this sad lilting sing song, and it plays several times with him throughout it.
Absolutely.
His death, they play it during his death scene you know what? After all the issues I had with Wild Thing, thank God finally somebody shocked his powerhouse. I've been waiting for that.
Somebody did.
I'm watching it. I actually said it. They shocked his powerhouse. Yes.
They shocked your powerhouse.
Blue coat.
Blue coats give you to the white coats. I gotta get some sound files up in this shit. I only paid for like a soundboard and everything, and I got like 4 sound files.
Get on the ball, guy.
Yeah, well, first I have to have time. So
excuses. Yeah. Now,
kind of.
And let's not forget too that it's one of those things where, as Christina Applegate is wandering from John to heroin needle, she's leaving a trail of her dead friends. Everyone
she comes in contact with dies. Her friend with the terrible face tattoo, which is the only nudity you see in the film, are her boobs.
Actually, you can just say face tattoo. You don't have to say horrible face tattoo. That's the first part's implied.
Yeah, I guess you're right. That's 2 movies in a row with terrible fake tattoos.
Oh, you said fake tattoo. I thought you said face tattoo.
No, I did say face. But
okay,
obviously, she didn't get a real face tattoo for the movie. But it still looked pretty bad.
It could have been a real person with a face tattoo. You don't know.
That's a shame. I doubt it, though. It looked pretty fake.
Yeah, he's trying to track her down, and the only person they don't really show him kill is the little kid whose hand he burns on his hot motorcycle exhaust. So we're not really sure if that kid's dead or not, but he doesn't pop up again. So
something tells me that for some reason, he didn't kill him. I don't know why, but I get the feeling that he didn't.
I really think he did, because if he's concerned about somebody IDing him, why would he leave that kid? He's killed everybody else he's talked to. Why not kill the kid? And
what's funny about the whole ID thing is, the second she had that interaction with him where she ended up getting away, it was not even a second thought. She would have never said anything ever.
Yeah, and that's great. I like that part of the story, and I also like the part that it's not like, oh, she's the one that got away, as far as like an obsession with tracking her down, but it's really more of like ass coverage, like, shit, she could ID me.
Right.
I need to, no loose. Yeah, now a little bit near the end, of course, it becomes an obsession. It becomes a little more like that, but still, the driving force, at least on the surface, is, she's a witness. I do have to get rid of her.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, I'll give you that near the end. It's like, yeah, no, I'm going to get her no matter fucking what.
Right, exactly. But yeah, she probably would have known. Even if she came across her character, it gets that feeling that if she saw something on the news or newspaper, whatever, and it's like, wow, he's the serial killer, she probably would have said, "Where's my next fix?" She probably wouldn't have cared even at that point.
My favorite scene in the entire film. Can you guess?
Favorite ever?
Ever. The one I rewound 3 times.
The one, the one you rewound 3 times. God, what could it have been? Let's see. I got to run the film real quickly in my head. Was it when the over-the-top kid falls off his bike?
Yes.
Where it's absolutely not, and it's absolutely an accident. It was not meant to be in the film. It's
a long high-speed chase where the kid's on his bicycle and the cop's on a motorcycle, and somehow the kid keeps getting ahead of the cop. And at one point, it's like the camera's on the back of a car, so the kid's coming at the camera, rolling, and it's going down the street, and he just swivels, the wheel spins, and he just face plants into the concrete. Wham! And there is not a doubt in your mind that was not planned.
Yeah, totally fucked that up. Yeah, he totally fucked it up.
And he his face, because there's not even, his face literally hits the ground, his feet go up behind him. No, that's not like a planned wipeout. That was, oh shit.
Now, if you were going to base that alone as the theme for your next challenge, one, I would say no to it because the movie is amazing and we don't do that here. But it would be Fight Club. On that scene alone. Because when Brad Pitt is on the bicycle in the house and he's going in circles and Norton is in the tub talking about, Jack and Jill with the body parts and everything.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, there's a scene in the film that you only know from like the audio commentary and some special features that he's meant to fall off the bike, but he had to do it on purpose, but needed to make it look like it was, genuine. And they said they did it like 20 times. But the first time he did it, he actually fucked up and fell off so perfectly that that's the take that they used. So that could potentially be a theme to challenge me, say, to Fight Club.
Now,
I wouldn't accept it because it's Fight Club.
Sure.
You can't.
I would have veered off a bit more towards, and we could spend a whole episode talking about a good movie, but
it's not as much fun.
With Fight Club, at least you'd have a lot to talk about as far as imagery, themes, things like that.
Oh, the whole psyche and all that shit.
Yeah, psyche and shit.
Book to
I
film,
would have veered the other way towards Premium Rush.
Oh, is that the one with Joseph Gordon-Levitt?
Yeah, or I could have gone Quicksilver.
Oh, Vision Quest. Could go Vision Quest. Never
seen it, so I guess I could have. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's my favorite.
I still haven't seen Premium Rush. Oh, I like you rewound that a few times because the fact that he was in pain, I knew for real, made me happy.
And after that scene, when you're watching other parts where like the shirt's torn, like, okay, did that tear? Is that a costume designer tear, or is that when he fucked himself up falling off the bike?
Can only hope.
My second favorite scene, and this is why we have to start doing audio commentaries or voiceovers while playing the movies, is at the end. And I have a lot about the end that I have to vent about.
Okay.
Just because, do you mind if I lead into that?
Go right ahead.
Is that
I'll follow you.
They survive everything with the cop chasing them to kill them, and they're in. So the kid's like, "Hey, my parents are cool. I told them I have a friend that's going to come back with me. We'll explain the whole drug addiction thing when you start going cold turkey. But come with me. We'll get you out of all this, and we'll start a fresh life." Obviously, the kid comes for money. It's like a one-way ticket to out of this fucking slime pit of living in the streets. And she says no. Says I'm not going with you. It'll never work out. And he's like, well, give it a shot. I said no, she won't do it. Now, ignoring the fact, and of course, ignoring the fact that all her friends are dead because she killed them. And at this point, word probably got out that her friends are dead because of her, so I'm sure it's going to be harder to create new friendships. But I do like the fact that after she says she's not going to go and everything, and they hug, there's that part where they're quiet, and she says, "I love you," and the next line has to be, "But I love heroin more," because that's what she's really saying.
Oh, yeah. There's no reason to stay unless you love something more. Heroin.
It's not like it's not like she's got her her street rat cronies out there to go. No, they're all dead. You got them all killed already. There's less than nothing waiting for you. Now the girls that she was rooming with in the drain pipe are dead. So I guess that means she's tripled her real estate. But I don't think it's going to have any long-term benefits for her.
No.
And then she's like, "Oh, can I get some money off you?" It's like, "Yeah, here's the ticket I bought you. You can cash that in." Says, "Oh, so why don't you use all the money you scammed off the guy you gave the hand job to before you got him killed?" you scammed like $60 off of him. Why do you need the bus ticket?
Yeah, and he was just so nice to her. It's his anniversary. His wife. Now, I was supposed to be somewhere an hour ago. It's my anniversary. It's my wife. Yeah, that's a great relationship right there. He's out getting hand jobs on his anniversary when he should be meeting his wife for dinner. It just... Now,
and that whole scene, too, also is that kind of a whitewashing of her character. Because, the one scene with the cop, you only see her with Johns twice. The cop, and then with this milquetoast guy in the BMW.
Right.
And he's just a very soft-spoken, shy guy that she takes advantage of, and you're like, good, take advantage of him because he's, getting underage prostitutes. Bad guy, bad. And, and she has like all the power in that scene, so it's really like, oh yeah, she's a prostitute, but it's not like it's dangerous or anything, except for the occasional, serial killer. Yeah, I mean, if the film was going for that, like, dirty, but, I don't know, how far can you go? I mean, she can't be Jodie Foster from Taxi Driver. Well, she could have, but it would have been a much darker film.
It would have, sure.
Yeah. And if she had a pimp or something, protecting her, then I could see why she said, well, I'm not leaving. Why would I leave? Johnny needs me.
Yeah, she does everything herself. She, she couldn't read. So one of the scenes where she says, yeah, I'll be the smartest or I'll be the dumbest girl in kindergarten or something like that.
Yeah.
There's some shit like that. And I actually get that. It's like she's scared. I can't read. I'm going to have to learn to do that. I'm going to have to commit to something other than heroin, which I love. So there's all of these things probably going through her head that if she even makes the attempt, it might even be harder than kicking heroin.
Yeah, but it might be easier than avoiding the cop that you were trying to blow suddenly trying to kill you.
Well, yeah, sure. But when you're, a drug addict, I would imagine there's a lot of things that you're thinking of.
Now, obviously, I'm coming at it from a rational standpoint. And obviously, if you're a heroin-addicted underage prostitute, maybe rational is not the area you're coming from. So I get that. And I'm not saying it's unrealistic. It just makes me hate the character more. But I'm not saying it's a bad ending. I just don't like it.
No. Well, it's not the greatest ending. Okay, so now that we've talked about the ending.
Yes.
What's with the dog?
From the beginning and the end.
Did I miss the dog in the beginning?
Yes, you did. If you go to our Facebook page, I posted both screenshots from both the beginning and the end that show that dog. In the beginning, when she's sitting on the park bench, the little girl tows the dog in the wheelchair in front of her.
Right.
And then at the end, as she leaves, the girl tows the wheelchair dog behind her after she's left. Now, this is stark, book-ended imagery depicting, I don't have a fucking clue.
Yeah.
What's
it supposed to mean?
I don't know. It's got to mean something because it's in there. And if it wasn't for the fact that the film had like the different lighting and the metaphors with the roses and the cat and the big black cock of death. I mean, there's enough of that going on where I have to give the director some credit that if he went out of his way to find a girl or find a dog in a wheelchair and have a little girl tow it in 2 separate scenes from the film. It had to be there for a reason, and I just don't know what it is. And this film did not gain enough of a popularity of any kind where I can easily find articles on it.
It barely made the challenge because, our challenges have to be a theatrical release. And it was released in America. It was a January release, January 19th, 1990. So it just makes the challenge criteria. So the budget, there isn't a list for the budget. It made $1.5 million, and that's it. I would imagine that this film didn't cost that much. So, but you're right. There is next to nothing. There's next to nothing about it. Now, in 2011,
let me just add. Yeah. I'm sorry. I just wanted to interject with that and say, and I would hazard that when Christina Applegate is interviewed, this doesn't come up often.
I wish it did, because I wonder if she would actually talk about it.
Yeah, I'm sure she would too. But obviously, you just know that nobody's asking about this film, especially with her varied career. Everybody wants to talk about Married with Children. No one wants to say, hey, what was it like rubbing up against the kid from Over the Top?
Now,
and I think that goes in my book as one of the most awkward sex scenes ever. She's glassy-eyed and doped up. He's awkward and just like probably putting on a condom for the first time ever. It's just kind of like, for all you know, he didn't even make it in. That's as graphic as I'm going to get. But it's, I mean, for all she knows, it didn't even happen. That's how twisted that love scene is.
And I freeze framed in like super slow-mo to see that shot because there's
I bet you did.
There's a scene where he's holding her breast and you don't see nipple there, which really sucks. And then there's a shot where he's laying on top of her and they're ripping open the condom and he moves in such a way that you see her entire breast, but I freeze framed it. There's just tape covering her nipples.
Because she's underage. So yeah, they're going to avoid showing nipples and stuff. Sure.
Damn it.
Hey. But again, like the plot is very simple, but what the film has going for it is, I mean, it's a slow film as far as there are a lot of dramatic scenes and a lot of kind of, it's weird. It's like the most twisted teen romance film you'll ever see.
It's going to go in my collection.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm going to keep it.
Just for the direction alone, it's interesting enough. I mean, the weirdest part for me is when the cop, he's a motorcycle cop.
Right.
When they put him on, they take him off duty because he gets stabbed in the leg chasing the kid down. So he's going to go out and cruise and find Christina Applegate.
Oh,
so
this
he
is
takes
the part where the kid falls.
He takes his police motorcycle, and he spends all this time like repainting it into a police motorcycle.
Yeah, it's just. And he didn't go through any great lengths for it because he turns his blinkers on, red and blue, and it's just, you could tell he just put a red and blue light cover over the standard blinker.
Yeah, but it's like he already has it's just odd.
He probably can't use it when he's not working, so.
I guess
that's what they were going for with that. Here it is. Hold on. I'm gonna rewind that for everyone so they can watch it again too.
I'm gonna start remixing our video opening, and I'm putting that in there. That's just awesome.
You kind of have to.
I mean, this isn't. I mean, it's not a good. I wouldn't call it a good film. I mean, it's a Roger Corman film. Come on, but it's got a lot of good elements, and I would definitely recommend this to anybody who likes those kind of. It also has that kind of weird feeling. All right, you.
All right, I'm done.
It's got that. You can kind of feel the '80s turning into the '90s in this movie, because it's that kind of '80s thriller, crime drama with the creepy underage kid romance.
Right.
But at the same time, the filmmaking is so stylized that it's really going into that kind of '90s made for video feel, pop culture feel. So it really has that kind of feeling of a melding of two genres or two generations. I would recommend it just for the cinematography, and calling it cinematography might be a bit much.
Well,
but
I mean,
for
it is the
direction,
art of it, but you're right.
Yes, I mean the direction, the lighting, and again, nothing beats a big black cock of death.
You keep mentioning that. Is my challenge, is it geared in that direction?
You wish I was challenging you to a big black cock of death. The most stylized scene I can think of is when he takes the little Asian girl, not Asian, was she Asian, and puts her in the
kind of
the
Filipino, to be honest.
Maybe Filipino.
Yeah.
Not all right. The off kilter little mongrel child, and he takes her and puts her in the garbage can while she's like high on something.
Right.
And she's talking about like reaching up to touch her daddy and sparks flying on their fingers and like that and just like that long shot of her looking up while he's pointing the shotgun down into her in the barrel. It's a really weird scene.
Yeah, it is. Especially when they do the shot where the electricity, kind of sparks and touches, and it's
almost
like
foreshadows his death.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, you're right. It is a cool scene.
There's a lot going on in this film, beyond just, young kids in love on heroin running away from a serial killer. I would be interested in a remake of this by somebody like a Lynch type director, somebody who is really into you could see a film like this. I could see this as a Lynch film. Sure.
Oh, easily. And he might even use like similar type of cinematography too.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. But it would be a bit more intense, probably, and the character. It would be more complicated, but it's got that feel to it. So, it's definitely probably. I think as far as the history of these types of films in this time period, it probably deserves a bit more attention than it's getting now, which is none.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate, but like I said, Shout Factory did the DVD release. All right,
Christina Applegate. Yeah, I wanted to do method, so I actually took heroin during the filming.
Yeah, I wanted to be a real method actor. Just wanted to get in the part.
It's going to be a meth actor.
All right, so it's currently rated 5.9 on IMDb.
Yes. And
I was actually surprised that it was rated that high because, and don't get me wrong, I think 6 is a pretty good number for this movie.
I agree. I think it deserves a bit more above a 5 because of you can tell there's a lot going on, and it does handle it with a serious tone. And again, the lighting, the direction, little imagery, the fucking wheelchair dog, whatever the hell that is, all that stuff really raises it beyond just your typical exploitation movie. It's like somebody actually gave a shit, and that for me is worth a star.
And when I say, I'm surprised, I am surprised that I see people watching this and not getting it, not thinking the way we're thinking when we watch it and just rating it below what it should get. But surprisingly, I think a lot of people do kind of get it when they watch this. So I think 6 is a good number for the movie. I think it's a good rating. It's better than average, and it's not a 7. When you get 7, you get into like great movie territory. So
for 7, I want to be able to understand the wheelchair dog.
I need to see nipples for a 7.
Nipples. Yeah, either one of those would earn us a 7 here. But yeah, I'd go with 6.
Okay.
It's only got 429 votes.
Wow.
And 6 is the highest rating on IMDb. So.
Okay. Any 10s in there?
Yes. 16% were 10s.
Wow.
Highest demographic, females 30 to 44. Lowest demographic, males 30 to 44.
You know why? It's like what I said last week. It's the 30 to 44 men. There's like, shit, didn't get to see Christina Applegate's tits, giving this a low rating. Women, like looking at it as what we talked about with the character, the lighting, her living on the streets, the whole development, and they're like, oh, this is better, and the men are like, fuck, no tits.
Men suck.
All right, so now you have a movie challenge for me.
Yes, I do, and you're not going to be able to guess it, so I'm just going to tell you.
Well, don't just tell me. I'd like to, maybe get a hint or something. What's the theme?
Obviously, I'll give you some hints, but you're not going to get it.
You got to give me a theme.
I got a couple of themes here. The main theme is going to be we're still going to be on the streets.
Okay.
And we're still going to be dealing with death. And we're still going to be dealing with teenage girls. Now, where it's going to differ a bit is I don't think there's as much homelessness as there is street gang stuff. However, another oddly similar theme undertoned is that doing the research for the films, for Streets, I did notice the fact that there are a lot of people out there who like the soundtrack to Streets, which it is an interesting soundtrack, and the soundtrack was never released.
Really? Okay.
And the film I'm about to challenge you is also a film that people have often raved about the soundtrack, and there has never been a soundtrack released. Also,
okay.
The female lead in Streets was an actress that was, let's say, she gained her fame from an earlier television show. Whereas in the film I'm going to challenge you, the lead actress earned her fame when she was much younger in an earlier film. Okay.
All right. Episode 142 of Moviesucktastic.
Something like that.
If you liked what you heard, you can go to our website at moviesucktastic.com and you can download. What's that?
If you don't like it, you can still go there.
You can still go there. You can download our shows there. You can listen to the show there. You can watch the live feed right from the website. You can also go to livestream.com/moviesucktastic and do the same thing there as well. You can go to iTunes and download all of our shows to your favorite iPod or MP3 player of your choice. Please leave reviews when you're there because we always appreciate them.
Review you can email us.
That's right. We're getting more and more. You can leave us email at themovieguys@moviesucktastic.com. You can also leave us voicemail at 908-514-4470. You can go to our Tumblr page at moviesucktastic.tumblr.com. Go to our Facebook page. Facebook page, facebook.com/moviesucktastic. You can also do a search for us in your favorite search engine, and we'll come right up.
Google it.
You can Google it, bitch.
Right.
And that about does it with that. Do you have any words of wisdom, sir?
I love you, but I love heroin more.
All right, everybody. Talk to you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.